Hey you guys, this is Rafael from Shiloh Good morning. I'm up bright and early this morning going to tell you about a cool knife. I hope you guys are all doing well. I heard a saying, and I used to say a lot and I don't say it much anymore. My friend Charlie Morris told it to me. He said, every day's a holiday and every meal's a banquet. And if we all look at life that way, it's going to be a good day. And today's going to be a good day. We're going to talk about a gun. Evidently, that cup of coffee did not kick in the way it should have. But we're going to talk about a very cool knife and one that holds its own spot in American history. In the 1840s, it's believed, there was a fella in Cleveland, Ohio, Andrew Hicks, and he came up with the idea of building a fantastic knife. And the knife that he designed is believed to be the first one purchased by the U.S. government under contract. And it's believed that they went to the Dragoon service, a well-armed group of riflemen, kind of a strike force of riflemen is the way they worded in the button book. The knife is very, very distinctive. When you see it, that's exactly what that is, and there ain't no doubt about it. Because of a couple of things. Mr. Hicks decided, I've made such a fine knife, I'm going to put my stamp on it. And that's exactly what he did. He did this. And it says A.G. Hicks, maker, over C-L-E-V'-D-O for Ohio. So Cleveland, Ohio, 1840s. But they were used for a long time. And why were they used for a long time? Because it's one hell of a knife. I mean, it is well built. Look at this. It's got a massive blade, usually around 10 inches long. There are a few variations of the length. When I was doing research on this, I found them 9.5, 10. But in that ballpark, they have a very well-made spear point style blade like that. They have the handle, though, is what's distinctive. When you see that handle, you know exactly what it is. It's a piece of wood, and it's brass bound. And where you're going to lose wood on a handle is around the unprotected areas. So what they did, they protected this one all the way around. Look at this. They put brass slabs on each side, screwed it onto the wood. They have a steel cap or iron cap. I think it's iron on the top, protecting that top. And a lot of times that's where a knife will break, because if you hammer it with anything, it splits that wood. If you don't have something up there to protect it, that's going to break it. This one had that covered. And this one has the panels on the side. It's actually got a few, looks like initials, but I just can't make them out. The guy didn't take enough time to mark them the way he should have, and we might have known who carried this knife, because that makes a lot of difference. When you find a knife and we know exactly who carried it, it increases the value usually. And it also makes it a little bit more desirable because it gives it that extra personal touch instead of just the initials that we can make out on this one. But this one has a couple of extra cool things about the piece. On the crossguard, it's got the big brass massive crossguard. There's 6 notches in it. And you can tell they were put there intentionally. We don't know what they were for. Could have been 6 Buffalo, it could have been 6 Yankees, so we just don't know. But it's got those 6 notches, very well done. But the coolest thing about it is carved into the handle. Those guys from down in Louisiana, always been a little flashy. The Cajun-ism in them comes out, and they have a whole lot of flair. Some of those, when you see some of those early pictures of those guys from Louisiana that joined the Confederacy and went places, you saw that they wanted people to know who they were, and they wanted them to know where they were from, and they wanted them to know why they were there. So this one, this cat couldn't spell, but he had a lot of flair to him. Check this out. Louisiana Tigers. He knew how to fight, evidently, because he got his 6 notches, but he couldn't spell with a flip. So we've got Louisiana misspelled, and we got Tigers instead of Tigers. And we all know that the most wonderful thing about tigers is tigers are wonderful things. Their tops are made out of rubber. Their bottoms are made out of springs. They're bouncy, trouncy, flouncy, pouncy, fun, 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 fun. But the most wonderful thing about tickets is I'm the only one. Sorry. When my girls were little, I would always do that, and I'd try to do it sometimes in public, and it would just embarrass the hell out of them. So if they do watch these, they don't watch many of these, but I hope they watch that one someday, and I hope they laugh when they see it, because they are loved. I digress. I took a tangent there that even I didn't know I was going to take. Told you that caffeine kick in eventually. But this knife is special for many, many reasons. It's one of the coolest ones out there. It's in fine shape. It's got good, clear markings. It's got that extra engraving for the Louisiana Tigers. It's got one thing that almost all of them are missing. This is the sheath, the original sheath that went with it. Almost always missing because it's a leather body, brass drag, brass top, and this one is complete, except on the back side of it, it originally would have had a little buffer pad that actually attached it. It worked as a buffer pad and as a belt loop to put on the soldier's belt. That snapped off because all it held it in place were two little rivets. And that, it's amazing that this is here, because it is a fragile, fragile piece. Somebody took very good care of it because they were a proud Louisiana Tiger. If you go on to ShilohRelics.com, you can see it, you can look at it, you can love it, you can even own it as of the time of this video. It's one that I got from a collector up in Pennsylvania. Love it, absolutely love it. First one I've ever had a chance to own, and it's got more character than a Mark Twain novel. This one is something special. So if you are an advanced knife collector, I'd have this one in my collection. I hope you guys are doing well. Kind of take another tangent. I've heard the word accountability every day for the past forever. Accountability does not just qualify if you are wearing a uniform. Accountability is in all of us. You need to be accountable for your actions, whether you do anything in life. And I'm not going to mention any particular people or particular jobs. Accountability is something that all of us should strive for. We should make the actions, the wordings, and the things that we do proper, because everybody should be doing their best. Not just certain groups, not just certain people. Everybody should be doing their best, and they should be held accountable. But that does not go just for one group of people. It goes for everybody. And if you are not being held accountable, you should be. You shouldn't do wrong stuff to start with. If you're doing wrong stuff, you ought to be caught. If you're doing wrong stuff, you ought to be put in jail. So, that's my 2 cents. You add $1.98 to those 2 cents, and you can get a Coca-Cola out of most machines in Tennessee. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you have the best day you have ever had in your life, because you are on my good list, because you're smart enough to be watching these videos. I love you guys, and I'll catch you next time.